Welcome again to the annual statutory meeting of Buckingham Town Council.
Good evening, Mayor.
We will move straight into the agenda because we've got quite a few things to do tonight. So we'll start with the election of the town mayor, where members are asked to elect the town mayor who will act as chair of the council for the forthcoming year. Margaret.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Schaefer.
Thank you. Do we have any? Okay.
I'd like to second that.
Okay. Do we have any other nomination? In that case, we can go straight to the vote. All those in favour, please. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. I now believe I probably need to sign something before. Yeah.
The declaration of acceptance of office.
I would like to thank you all for your trust and confidence, and hope that I will live up to it in the coming year.
Well,
And therefore, I'm now entitled to keep chairing this meeting. Good. And we next come to apologies. Have we received any apologies?
Yes, we have apologies from Councillor Cole, Councillor Collins and Councillor Hall.
I'll be happy to receive those apologies. Okay, thank you all. And now we come to the election of the deputy town mayor to elect the deputy town mayor for. Yes, Councillor Statutory.
I propose Councillor Fran Davies.
Okay, are there any other nominations? In that case, let's go straight to the vote. All those in favour, please. And I believe that is unanimous. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Before we close this short meeting and go straight into the next one, I have some rather pleasant town mayor's announcements to make. And
We won the lottery.
no, not quite as much as that, but we have received an email today dictated by and sent on behalf of Mr. C. Chandler, that says, "Dear all, I am pleased to confirm that legal completion of the council's purchase of this land," and this relates to the land for the new cemetery, "was achieved earlier today." We also have confirmation that the Public Loans Board has approved the loan for us to develop the land.
Excellent. Can I ask for minutes that we thank the town clerk and all the staff in the offices, etc., who've worked so hard to get to this point.
Yeah.
Very appropriate, yes. It's been a long, hard journey. Thank you.
It's been a marathon.
Yes, yes. So, thank you so much for it. And if I'd known this, I would have brought a bottle of champagne.
Next meeting.
This literally came in just before the meeting.
We have got time, we can.
So next time we'll do it properly. Maybe we'll christen the new cemetery, even though there's nothing there to christen yet.
Good idea.
Just going through you, Madam Mayor, what would be the protocol? Because it's quite a major achievement and many people over a consecutive cycle have worked on it. Will we be doing a press release around this at the appropriate time? Because I do think people need to know that we've achieved that aim, and courtesy around the fact that if it wasn't for the diligence of our staff and all the other people being so keen to move this forward, it wouldn't have happened. It is a major achievement.
I'm sure we will, Councillor, but I would say I got that email at 18:52 this evening. Just to confirm, so I haven't actually had a chance to think.
Well, it's nothing like being early.
I'm sure this will happen at the appropriate time. So in that case, I think we can close the annual statutory meeting and move straight into the full council meeting. if that is okay, since that is also a public meeting, I propose that we don't close and restart the Zoom meeting.
Agreed.
I have to go to another meeting.
Yes,
So
and you're right, too.
I will try and get back before the end of this.
So then, full council meeting, apologies for absence.
Councillor Cole, Councillor Collins, Councillor Davis, and Councillor Miller.
So happy to accept all those?
Agreed.
Wonderful. Any declarations of interest that we don't already know about? So now we have a very long agenda. Please bear with me if I get muddled at some point. I hope I won't. To agree, now we have several minutes, several sets of minutes to agree. So to agree as a correct record, the minutes of the precept meeting held on 29th of January 24 and the full council meeting held on 18th of March 24. Councillor Statutory?
Propose to agree.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, everybody happy to agree the minutes?
Yep.
Okay. Did we need a seconder for this? No. Okay. To agree as a correct record the minutes of the interim full council held on the 26th of February. All those in favour, happy to agree?
Yeah.
Okay. To receive the minutes of the planning committee meetings held on 5th of February, 26th of February and 25th of March. Councillor Cole.
No, I'm not councillor.
No, you are not.
But there's a passing resemblance.
Sorry, this was automatic.
Yeah, but in the absence of councillor Cole, I'd like to present the minutes of 3 planning committees, committee meetings that were held on the 5th of February, the 26th of February and the 25th of March. Thank you.
Great. Happy to receive those?
Agreed.
Okay, agreed. Then to receive, now let me see that I don't miss any. Item number 6, to receive the minutes of the Town Centre Events Committee held on the 12th of February.
I'm happy to present the minutes to be received. Just to remind everyone that don't forget in your diary the 24th to the 26th, Buckingham Live. Hope to see many of you there. And it's a live event and there's so many things going on in the town that even if you can't make the Sunday, you're going to make one of the other events. Because it's been so tremendous that we've got all these different organisations involved in it. So you don't have to give the whole day to it. You can go to one of the other events and say you're a town council and you're there supporting it, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7, to receive the minutes of the Environment Committee meeting held on the 19th of February 2024. Chair isn't here. Would the deputy chair like to present or to?
Yeah, so I present the minutes of that meeting.
Okay, we're happy to receive them?
Yeah.
Okay. Resources Committee, to receive the minutes of the Resources Committee meeting held on the 4th of March.
Happy to present those to members.
Received?
Yeah.
Okay, received.
Thank you.
Okay, item number 9. Recommendations from Resources to receive a report from the Compliance and Projects Manager relating to the staff handbook. Steve, is there any?
No, I think
Would like
it's
to say?
self-explanatory, thank you. The things looked at by Resources and recommended it go straight forward to this full council. They did so on the proviso that we then accept the legal changes that were due, and the changes between the 2 meetings are listed on the document.
Okay, so the recommendation is that it is recommended that we review and approve the new staff handbook. Councillor Statutory.
Propose we agree.
Seconded by Councillor Draper. All those in agreement, please? And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Sister, are you jumping out a bit?
There's a lot in there.
And item 9.2, the freedom of information and data protection to receive a report from the Compliance and Projects Manager. Again.
So again, thank you. Not proposing any changes from 12 months ago, and you should have a copy of the current ones in your file.
Okay, we're happy to receive.
Agreed.
Okay, thank you. Annual town meeting on the 23rd of March to receive a feedback report from the committee clerk. Got this appendix C. Paula, is there anything you would like to say on that one?
I think it's fine.
Once again.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you very much for a comprehensive report. I suppose my question is, where do we go from here with all the issues that have been raised?
So all of the issues that are raised will go to the relevant officer in Buckinghamshire if it is relevant. The town centre manager was here, so it's really just to pass it on to the relevant officers. And if I get any feedback, I didn't last year, then I will forward it to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Salisbury.
Just to say thank you for the officers and the time they put into organising that, and those who attended at the time they did to making sure we got the information.
Thank you. Right. Should have printed off the top page, to be honest. Yeah. Thank you. Now I've got several copies. Fantastic. To receive and question reports from Buckinghamshire Council. Councillors. Yeah, Councillor Salisbury.
Firstly, you may have picked up in the press that the government has given Buckinghamshire money towards the special education needs. You'll know that I've questioned that over a number of years, and many of us you have, which is tremendously good news. Quite what that means and where the school will be if we come out in time. You will also may have picked up that the council, which I didn't form another committee, agreed unanimously to strengthen the council's policies around the white ribbon, which was started in Canada, and that is going to make a difference to the safety of women and young girls in Buckinghamshire, and that was agreed unanimously at the council, amended, and there was a huge amount of cooperation of that. That's really good news. You will remember that we discussed the report on primary health provision. That went to Cabinet, which I attended the other day, and that was agreed without too many amendments. The whole of the side of the Health Authority were there, the whole of the Cabinet members were there, and it went through. It was a very long discussion about the importance of it, and that will define how we go forward in the local plan, in planning for health facilities. It's a very large document. I don't know whether there's anything which needs to come back to that document to be reviewed, because there's sections in it about town and parish councils and how they deal with section 106 and civil and health. So it might be something that may come back here and we may review it at some point. Also, I've been to several other things, which in the sense that questioning around, we had a discussion with Jane and I before the meeting about the rise in section 21s in the area, which is quite a concern, and many other aspects. But those things that we're doing, and of course you all know, because it was announced at the last meeting about the cycleway. Many of these things are gradually happening, but I am something we must be all terribly concerned about, that many of these people in our community who get into that situation are people who are in jobs with children in education and schools, and this in itself can be really disruptive to the whole family and the fabric of the way they live. And we must be all, and it's not Buckinghamshire Council's fault, it's the change in fabrics of the economics around social and private rent. But I think, you know, there's lots of other things you can say, but those are the most important things I thought were poignant.
Thank you. Who wants to go next? Yeah, Councillor Bowen.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I just to emphasise that the Boxall business grant still available, still at 1.7 million now for planners who would like to tap into that. And also to just stress the fact that the committee board has new priorities for the financial year 2024-2025. It will be covering the enhancement of local communities with a committee board focus on sustainability. It will also be championing young people, focusing on developing their skills, and finally reaching the health and well-being for all the people. So a series of workshops will be held, and we're all encouraged to try and attend at the parish town council. But please leave the committee boards what the direction of the president would like. So thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's a shame that in the primary care report, there's no mention of Lace Hill made. It's all part of the estate strategy for the NHS, which is going to report in 2 years' time after the loan application dies out in March 25. I don't wish to draw any conclusions from that, but I think the evidence is pretty obvious what's going to happen. To the site, well, under a 106 agreement, the land is reserved for specific use. And if it's proved that it is not required for that use, the land has to be returned to the developer. However, the developer sold the land on. And the land remains with the potential developer. It is not all lost yet. I'm hoping that by standing here and just saying it's in critical care, I've arranged meetings with various people and the MPs, and the matter has been referred to the Secretary of State for Health, the Minister for Primary Care, and has reached the Cabinet Office and the Prime Minister. And I can't do any more than that. So I hope there's something happens. But on an optimistic note, there's one planning application which the Town Council refused, a list of building consent for lighting in a shop along the High Street. And they were quite right to refuse it because it exceeded the limits which was originally offered in 2017. But by talking to the owner of the shop and the listed buildings officer and planning, they have, providing that they fulfil the terms of original obligation, they don't have to reapply, and they've done that. Remove the sign that was offending the listed buildings officer, they reduce the lighting. So hopefully that's an outcome which never made Facebook.
Just to respond on the report, you won't know because you weren't part of the working body, which I was, that Dr. Gabriel gave at least 1.5 days at different times to actually report to report. It was agreed that the report would not be specific to particular projects because it's a Buckinghamshire report. What I can assure is Dr. Gabriel represented GPs in the area and in Buckinghamshire and across, actually made numerous points to that report, worked hardly to bring us up to speed with what was necessary, and talked completely and added great content to that report. We are not the only people in Buckinghamshire who are, let's say, having difficulties delivering health facilities. Now, this has been going on for a number of years. Last meeting I had, it was agreed, and it was agreed that we would, as a collective group of people, which was a meeting in confidence, that we would wait on any conversation with this. And it was agreed at that meeting that any further conversation around the possible applying for funds would be communicated by the Swan practice. And the Swan practice had the moral authority to do that because it isn't councils who apply for funding from the health people, it is the Swan practice. The Swan practice haven't written to me. I wrote to them the other day to ask for an update. I haven't had a response about where it was, because there was hope, and it was in the House when the chair of the House indicated in the public domain that she felt things were moving forward. If that isn't the case, we need to know that information, but it was agreed in the meeting that it was not most appropriate that any communications about that should be done by the Swan practice, because though we people who are members of councils and bodies may influence it, we are not applying for that funds. It is the Swan practice, and the Swan practice have been through the mill with this, and they do need to get some credit about what they're doing.
Thank you, Robin.
So I do think that that's what it was, but if you look at the thing, I think I'll go and find you a line, there's one practice in it, because it was hugely involved in the report. Don't think they could have been any more involved than having Dr. Gabriel present.
I was not insinuating that swan practice is not involved. What I am saying is that the blockage is much further up the food chain than the swan practice. However much the swan practice try and get the money, I won't blame on one body. I will just mention the Treasury and the NHS. Of course, if it does happen, if it does not happen, it is they that cause the problem with Buckingham, not the swan practice.
Agree with you.
Thank you.
Totally agree.
It might, well, this was in a public meeting, so I think this is fine, but we're not going to release any official statements beyond informing the council of this. Thank you. Thank you both. Just to add to, as a Buckinghamshire councillor, very briefly, the only new or different thing I have to add is that at the last council meeting, I raised the question regarding the observance of the town and parish charter. I was approached by the cabinet member for communities afterwards. He wanted a meeting with me. I had a meeting with him, and the senior officer, whose name now escapes me, I'm terribly sorry. I'll learn all those names and titles at some point, and they'll all change. I raised numerous issues that have been debated at this town council. That's why I'm reporting on it, most of which don't actually fall directly into the responsibility of the cabinet member for communities, but fall into planning and into licensing and various other issues. So I've raised, and devolved services. So I've raised our various concerns we've had over recent months over timely communication and meaningful consultation, at least and I'm not suggesting in any way that this was as a direct response of my communications, but at least in terms of licensing with the street trading license, they have listened, as I said, presumably not to my representations, but to the outcry across the county, and are now consulting in more meaningful ways. That's it from me. And if there are no further questions, I suggest that we move on to agenda item number 12. To review policies and delegated arrangements as required by Standing Order Section 5. So 12.1, the financial regulations. We again have a report from the project manager, indeed, yes.
I'll talk to this one. We aren't recommending any changes at this time. It should be noted that the new model document, now I've done an awful lot of work and completely rewritten it. We received it 2 days before the agenda was published, so it's not been practicable for us to really go through it in detail that is required. A lot of it is also, I'm not going to say optional, but there are bits in it where we make our own decision as to levels or how we wish to adopt the document. So the recommendation is that because a part of our standing orders, we do need to readopt what we've got at the moment, and then Steve and I will go away and do a fairly substantial project on it, take it to resources for scrutiny and bring it back to a future meeting of full council for the new improved model.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Statutory.
I'll go through you, Madam Mayor, try and ease it through a bit. 1.2 and to 2.1. Most of those things are, I think the town clerk was saying, haven't changed. They are as they are, apart from what you said. Would it be unreasonable to propose that we agree those in block? Because they haven't changed, they're the same policies, so that less somebody here feels there's something that needs to change, I propose we agree those in block.
Councillor Wheeler.
I'm happy to say.
Okay. Councillor Twyman.
Yes, I'd like to talk about, or not talk, 5.10, Maybe just for information for me and maybe others, it says the council will aim to rotate the duties of the members of these regulations so that onerous duties are shared out as evenly as possible over time. Have we ever done that? Because it's been a year, more than a year since we've reviewed this document. I just wondered whether that clause has ever been invoked.
Sorry, could you?
Kind of slight.
It's on page 92, it's 5.10.
Which document?
The financial regulations.
Well, it's page 92 of 297, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So look at the top corner, left-hand side.
Page 92, 297.
Can we just?
I think, I mean, that quiz, we have a schedule of signing and it's not the same member every week. They alternate through so that different members have
Yeah.
signed them at different times.
That's what it means, the ones that we sign.
Okay.
That's what the clause is.
When I read it, it sort of implies duties as, you know, another person that
Yes.
gets
Yeah,
a feel of what's going on as opposed to different signatories.
no, it's just that.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's fine. As I say, it was more of information, not a good or bad thing. And finally, 7.3, no changes shall be made to any employee's pay, etc., without prior consent of the relevant committee. Should that not be full council rather than relevant committee? Do we do things down to, well, resources I expect it will be,
Resources.
as opposed to any committee or relevant committee? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, the relevant committee is normally going to be resources.
okay,
Unless it's,
so,
in which case it would feel council.
all right, so
Yeah.
reading it to either of those two then, rather than one specific one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So what is it that, considering there was bits that need to be still changing, what is it that we're now?
I don't think there was.
I would recommend we re-adopt them for the moment, but it's obviously.
Okay, yes, and so there has been a proposal that we re-adopt them and this has been seconded.
Yeah.
All those in favour, please. Okay, and that is unanimous. Thank you, I was getting lost there for a moment. We now have the committee terms of references to review and amend or confirm the terms of references for.
Mayor, can I just ask for the previous item?
Oh, I see.
The financial management and risk assessment needs to be.
Oh, I see.
reviewed this
Yes,
meeting.
I
And there's.
am terribly sorry. I knew I was going to get lost in this rather substantial. So
Financial risk review.
financial risk assessment.
I thought you said it.
You can agree.
I said on block.
Robin's motion was that we accept them on block.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
Apologies, I missed that.
Yeah, okay. And that's what I thought as well, but I suddenly thought, maybe it was, there was another block.
May I just speak on the committee terms of reference?
Yes, please.
Just to reassure members, there are no changes recommended. No member has asked me to make any changes. The only slight tweak is I suggest that we rename the Communication Strategy Group the Communication Strategy Subcommittee, because it is actually formally a subcommittee and it does have delegated powers. It's not a working group and never has been. Not in my time at the council, it hasn't been. It does have budgetary power, and therefore it is a subcommittee.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. But if we're dealing with all of the terms of reference as a whole, can I just query something on Appendix J, which is TCE? We've got
Page number.
we've got a reference to the membership in item 4 under that, a membership of somebody from the
Page
university.
Thank you.
And well, obviously, when we had Dean Jones, I think he used to come, but that seems to have fallen into abeyance. And I just wondered whether we should still have it there or not, or whether we need to just amend it slightly, because it would be great to have somebody from the university. But correct me if I'm wrong, but I kept getting told, and I was involved in Pontio, that they were going to slightly rejig his role and appoint somebody else. But I'm not sure that that ever happened. But there must be somebody who deals with those sorts of issues. And it could be quite good to find out who that person is and see whether that is appropriate. But in the meantime, it feels, I found it slightly strange to see that there. Okay, Councillor Statutory.
Thank you for raising that, Councillor Gately, you're absolutely right. It was envisaged and it worked for a brief period of time. And the standard order went through, but there was a change in personnel at the university, which is nothing to do with us. I think it's something that we should take on a discussion about. If that's something the university are wishing to do, but it was a partnership about events within the university, whether there was any shared knowledge or things that we could do together. That was the whole point of it. And then, because it was not directly to the Pontio group, because the Pontio group did lots of other things, but this was related to the fact that in many ways it has worked, because we do work with the students at the university on comedy nights, so the student union. So in some ways it's been an absolute success, but we haven't had people come here. So can I ask that we leave it in for now while the town clerk, as and when, investigates whether there's a wish to do that? If it isn't, then we take it out.
May I suggest, how do the members feel about putting the word may include, and then it leaves the option open, but without.
Yeah, I think that's,
Yeah.
I think that's really sensible, yeah.
See everybody nodding.
Yeah. No,
So I think have we voted on this amendment? Do we need to vote on it? I'm sure.
Probably because it's a term of reference.
Okay, so
I'm gonna
there's,
propose it.
I'll propose that we amend the terms of reference as has just been outlined.
and I think I was,
I'll second it.
okay, it's seconded by councillor Draper. All those in favour? And that is unanimously accepted. Thank you very much.
So just to clarify, Chair, so that, if we're looking at the terms of reference on block, that's the one amendment that has been made to item 12.2.
Yeah.
And if then members, if you wouldn't mind, if we could vote on item 12.2 on block as amended.
Propose that we agree to do that.
Second. Okay, seconded by councillor Ahmed. All those in favour? And therefore, all the items under 12.2 have been accepted on block, and I think I'm missing a bit. Sorry, I really should have printed this out. It's too long an agenda to try and keep jumping forward and backward. Committee choices. To receive and agree councillor committee appointments, I have received a written amendment to this one, and that is okay, so where's the written amendment? Here we go. On this one. Here we go. Bear with me for a second. I seem to have got slightly lost in this agenda. But the amendment is for councillor Ossibogan to insert the following committee choices for councillor Ossibogan: resources committee, staffing committee, and communications strategy group.
Happy to accept that.
The wrong form was submitted by mistake. Are we happy to accept this amendment? Okay. In that case, we can now move on to agreeing the councillor committee appointments, as it is our habit that, as our standing order says, that anybody can choose to be a member of any committee they wish. I would propose that we accept those en bloc. Okay, councillor Willett seconding. All those in favour, please. Okay, that is accepted. Thank you very much. Item 12.4, standing orders. To receive a report from the compliance and projects manager. What was that again?
It's that we review and re-adopt the current standing orders without amendment, but also noting that, again, now are commissioning a full review of the model. So it may be something we look at over the course of the next year.
Councillor Moody.
Smiley question. Under item here, where it talks about recorded votes, it says that a vote should be taken before it moves on to the next item of business. You should really record it before a vote is taken.
What we used to do.
Do you point me out?
Yeah, extra sugar.
What page number in the top corner?
Which page, Howard?
Oh, right.
1, 3. Oh,
I know what you're on about.
1.
141,
Page 6, that's right.
141,
Page 6, 7. That's
Thank you,
page
Lucy.
6, item was S.
Unless standing orders provide otherwise, voting on a question shall be by a show of hands. At the request of, I'm reading this out, at the request of a councillor, the voting on any question shall be recorded so as to show whether each councillor present and voting gave their vote for or against that question. Such a request shall be made before moving on to the next item of business. Well, you're entirely right. Technically speaking, it doesn't make any sense. So it should read, such a request shall be made before the vote is taken.
Yeah.
Evidently. I think that's pretty evident.
You
Yes.
can't have it after the vote.
Yeah,
No.
I'm happy to second that amendment. Are we all, yes, councillor Try?
No, sorry, you go ahead with that one.
Yeah, okay, in that case, all those in favour of this particular amendment? Yeah, that is unanimous, thank you. Councillor Try?
Yeah, may I suggest a reformat then, in light of what councillor Morges just said? You know, we've got one, we've got A to S, we've got lots of S's. Could we not have, as in other orders, 1.1, 1.2 rather than A, B, C? So that if somebody references S, what S are we talking about? We know where we're going.
It's because it's not our model document, so it is laid out in exactly the same order as the model document, and everything in bold we are legally obliged to keep. So I just take on board the point.
I'll follow the sheep then.
No, it's a good point, but it does mean that pretty much every council across that board will be the same that we're all
Well,
doing.
who's at the top of the chain? Let me go and talk to them.
They are reviewing and it does.
No change.
I hope they'll be clear.
Okay. So in that case, the recommendation is that we re-adopt those standing orders. Yeah, without amendment, yeah.
Propose that we do.
Yeah,
With the Howard amendment.
with how, yeah, we've already voted on the amendment, so re-adopting those with that amendment that we already voted on. Seconded by councillor Gately. All those in favour, please. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Where are we now? Review of arrangements with other local authorities, and that is appendix P. Let me just quickly scroll down to this, which might take a while.
Page 156 if you're doing it that way.
Oh,
If you want to stick in there and type 3 numbers in.
Very deep in.
right. And it says, so are we re-adopting these, or are we just reviewing these? What are we doing?
Just reviewing it, it's a
Reviewing.
Yeah, any,
No.
shall we just note those?
Yeah.
Happy to review and
No, we
just
can't
say,
do this, no.
yeah, happy to note those, yeah?
Noted.
Okay, thank you.
And same with.
So many formalities that,
It's full of formalities. The informalities is much more interesting.
a review of representation to review and update work with external bodies and arrangements for reporting back. That is
review again.
appendix Q, well, it is unless a particular representative, I think we need.
And all the ones that are dated due for renewal will need to.
Yeah, we'll have to take them.
Okay, so yeah, there's quite a lot of them. So there is the AD Association of Local Councils. The current representative is councillor Harvey.
I suggest he goes back on it.
Propose that you go stuck on it.
Yeah, okay, so that was, so unless you object.
He will love that.
Can I just check that he is willing to?
No.
continue?
It is for not attending
Not received anything from any member or any member that's not present to say that they
Okay, so in the absence of any information, we therefore assume, so we haven't had a proposal from Councillor O'Donoghue and seconded by Councillor Statutory that Councillor Harvey remains on
He's doing a
that
good job.
organisation. All those in favour?
Well,
I believe that is unanimous. The Aylesbury Vale Transport Users Group, that is Councillor Statutory, Councillor Harvey currently on that. Yeah.
I have a terrible job of getting to any of those meetings, so if anyone really wants to go on the transport users group, please step forward, otherwise we'll stay where we are. It's just that quite often I'm in another meeting and or they don't call their meetings around the calendar of other meetings, it's around their own calendar, and you often find that. So it is a group that talks about the limited transport offers we've got in Buckingham, and a lot of it covers mainly Aylesbury really, and it covers, you could be tied down to discussing routes of buses and whatever. But I know John will probably done it, you know, he's got a free bus pass. He's advised me the other day I was using it and having quite fun using his free bus pass. So but I'll start it if no one else wants to do it, but I wouldn't get in the way of someone who's able to actually get to those meetings. They are in the day, which is also really bad for people who've got employment or other commitments, and they are around a kind of their own choosing. So, but it's just there.
Anybody willing to take up this challenge?
Clearly not. Clearly not. It was a good try, though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Nice try. So in that case, I propose that we nominate Councillor Statutory and Councillor Harvey again.
Thank you.
Yeah, second that.
Seconded by Councillor O'Donoghue. All those in favour? You are, yeah. You could have voted against that, Robin, if you didn't.
I can't go against it. You know, it'd be bad form after proposing John, wouldn't it?
Yeah, fair enough. Buckingham Bardic Council, we've got Councillor Davies and Councillor Willett on that at the moment.
I mean, through you, have they met? Is there a council in existence and whatever?
We have a bard at the moment.
In which case, would it be advisable that we, through the town clerk, discuss whether and where we go with that? Because if they haven't met, we haven't got a bard, and we haven't got a bard at council, it really is two nice positions for something which hasn't actually managed to get off the ground. I'm sure it's absolutely nobody's fault, but you have to have people interested in it to be able to do it. And it isn't a council project, it's an outside project which we support. It isn't something that we, the council, are going to take up and do. It was just, we had someone on there to represent the town council and assist in it. So it wasn't that we run it. So we have to be very careful we don't pick up another responsibility. But can I ask through you, Madam Mayor, that the town clerk brings back some point appropriate comments around what we should do, because we have to be very careful that we don't actually take this on.
I would suggest it's not our committee, and this is just our representatives on it. I don't think we're in a position to wind it up. That would be something for the committee to do themselves.
Yeah.
I suggest it makes sense to keep two of our members on the committee whilst whatever process it needs to go through. It goes through. I'll take a point now. I mean, it is.
Don't want you to do it.
But surely we can recommend, because we're representative, to ask them to wind it up. Surely, can we not?
I believe the more members on it could take it upon themselves to suggest whatever they wanted.
Beyond the.
Oh, sorry.
No.
So it has been, I've been working quite closely on this, but it has been for quite a while that we've had a few people interested and then back out, and then for various reasons. And I think it's really difficult to get that sort of group off the ground. I'm happy to stay on it, but it is a really difficult committee to try and find someone for.
I think you, Madam Mayor, it's inappropriate for us to make any suggestions about it as it's an outside body. Really pleased that two members are going to stay on it. If it does get up and running, they can liaise with the council. That's what their job is, not to actually do it. But it's worth mentioning because it is 12 months nearly. We
So we have somebody happy to well, I'm nominating Councillor Davies and Councillor Willett to be our representatives on that.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councillor Gately. All those in favour, please. And that is again unanimous. Okay, so the next one that we need to review is the Buckingham Community Wildlife Project. And our current representatives on that are Councillor Gately and Councillor Draper. No, that comes up in May 2025.
Oh, sorry.
I'm not making additional administrative work. We don't need to vote on stuff we don't need to vote on. Yes, Councillor Statutory.
Can I propose that we ask both members to continue? Would that be appropriate and thank them for their time in continuing?
Yeah, second.
Okay, so in that case, all those in favour, please. Okay, so that's Councillor Gately and Councillor Draper. So the Buckingham Almshouses and Welfare Charities, there's only. Yes, Councillor.
Sorry, thank you, Madam Mayor. I do notice on the Almshouses charity, I finish in January 2025, which is shy of May 2025 when there'll be local elections. I also notice, if she hasn't already, Councillor O'Donoghue is technically out of time now. So is there some way we can deal with this so that we all drop, if you're willing to carry on, into May 2025 and level it all up?
If that's what members wish to vote for, then we can.
Well, that's what I'm proposing.
Okay, yeah,
I'll
that's
second that.
okay.
Happy to stay on that.
In that case, so the proposal is that Councillor Ralph and Councillor O'Donoghue stay on it until May 2025, and then we re-elect or reappoint in one go.
Yeah.
And it's been seconded by Councillor Statutory. All those in favour? And that is again unanimous. Thank you. And what else? The Buckingham Youth Centre. Councillor Willett and Councillor Statutory. Yes, Councillor Willett.
I'm happy to stay on that committee, well, to be appointed to that body. Thank you.
Councillor Statutory.
Yeah, I've done it. I've been on it since 1999. I'm obviously stay on it for a bit longer.
Okay, so in that case, we'll take this as a proposal by Councillor Willett and by seconded by Councillor Statutory that the membership, our representatives remain the same. All those in favour, please. And that is again unanimous. Thank you. Next. Christmas Parade Committee. And we have got Councillor Howard Mordew and Councillor Try.
You missed us, nice.
No, that doesn't need, that isn't come up because it's just me ex officio. I'm skipping the ones that we don't need to vote on.
We don't have to declare anything then.
Yes. Howard and Martin, are you happy to stay on it? In that case, I propose that we continue to have them as our representatives on that. Councillor by seconded even by Councillor Willett. All those in favour, please. And again, that is unanimous. Thank you. Dementia Action Alliance, our representatives are Councillor Harvey and Councillor Davies. Yes.
I think things that they've both been working on with the other stuff, I think that it would be really good that we propose that they both stay on there. You will be aware that it is, I think it's this week, it's Dementia Awareness Week this week. You know, never has it been such a growing important topic when you realise. So the fact that we've got people who will be interested and report back to us, it's a really good thing.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Draper.
Just to say that I've been working on that with Councillor Harvey and Councillor Davies, because although the kind of the official Dementia Action Alliance thing has kind of fallen by the wayside, we are currently working on trying to put on an event in Town Centre in June, I think, kind of like an awareness event.
Thank you. That's helpful information. Thank you.
For you, Mango. Lucy, if you are working on it, would you? I don't see that having more people on it is a negative. Would it be acceptable to add your name to it?
Yes.
So that you,
You want to be added, because if you're a member of the group, that's different from being the council's representative on it. So it's just something to think about. If you're there to represent Buckingham Town Council, or if you feel that you are a member, an active member of the group there to.
And I guess the only benefit of being there as a representative of the town council, it means I can report back if those two aren't here, but.
yeah. Can I propose that we,
Yeah.
with this consent, that we add her to.
Well, Lucy asked to be on it, so.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I was saying, Lucy's already said that, but.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Okay, in that case, all happy, all those in agreement, please. I'm going to get my tongue in a terrible twist at some point tonight. The Lace Hill Medical Centre Forum, that's Councillor Try and Councillor Mahi on it currently. Yes, Councillor Try.
Yeah. Well, as you're probably all aware, it's not met for millennium. Or millennia.
Long time.
It was great while it was going, but I think it's defunct now. It was a forum that was doing its bit while things were happening, but things have moved on, as you heard earlier this evening.
Well,
So you can leave it there for good measure, just in case it reinitializes and we do get something that wants to have some sort of forum, but then it wouldn't be probably called the Lace Hill Medical Centre Forum. I've no idea. So I'll leave it up to the members to think how they want to play this one.
Thank you. Councillor Statutory.
I think if you haven't done anything, that's not a criticism because it wasn't your choice. There has been no meeting. There's been no agenda for you to look through. Historically, you had to look at the original plans and stuff. It isn't for us to. I've not heard that group's been disbanded, and you're appointed to us. And if it was to get up and running again for this reason, we'd have to go through the rigmarole of appointing someone to go and meet them and represent us and report back. So again, it's a case of it's not for us to make a comment on it. So we're just leaving two names on a piece of paper in case of eventuality. Would you be happy to stand on a piece of paper in case of eventuality is something positive? Because I think it serves a point, otherwise we'd have to discuss it somewhere else, have to bring it all back, and actually agree to appoint you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that you're already in post, so you can represent you to report back to us and get the opportunity. It's not your fault you haven't had the opportunity.
May I suggest then we maybe rename it to Buckingham Medical Centre Forum, just in case it doesn't happen where it is, or they rename it.
The Lace Hill Medical Centre.
You're happy with that, and
Forum.
it encompasses any medical centre that may come along.
It's not for us to rename the group.
Oh,
on their
that's a good
behalf.
point, Nat. Well done, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Missed that.
So as long as you're both happy to stay on it, so it's been proposed by Councillor Statutory. I'm happy to second it. All those in favour? That is again unanimous, thank you. And I'll represent then the Buckinghamshire and no, it's not Buckinghamshire and Villages, it's the Buckingham and Villages Community Board, surely, isn't it? And our representatives on it currently are Councillor Harvey and Councillor O'Donoghue. Yes, Lisa.
I'm happy to stay on that as deputy, and I think Harvey, but I don't think John was asked to come off it, as it, so.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I
I
propose
don't
so.
think John would want to come off it either.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'm proposing that you both stay on it. Seconded by Councillor Willard, I believe. All those in favour? And again, that is unanimous. I'm waiting for somebody to say, no, I don't want you to be on that. The North Bucks Parishes Planning Consortium, our current representative is Councillor Ralph. Are you? Yeah.
I'm very happy to carry on, but I would suggest it depends on whether I remain as deputy chair of planning, because it's my strong belief that it should either be the chair or the deputy chair who represents us on the MBPPC. So obviously it won't be long before we tidy up the next year, but
I expect that is a possibility, is a strong possibility that you remain the vice chair. So I
mustn't count out chickens.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a strong possibility, not a it's never a certainty.
But I'm happy to do it under those circumstances.
Well, I think with that proviso, we can vote on you being our representative on that, yes.
I'll propose that also to say that it hasn't been, never been so important, the report that many who don't sit on planning knows. The report that Councillor Anthony Routh has brought back to us has been really, really useful. There's lots of information, understanding the thoughts on planning across Buckinghamshire. And anyone who doesn't sit on planning, you missed out. Because they are all very well written reports.
There wasn't any agendas.
And they're on agenda, but it's something that is really worthwhile.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
not that we could be judging anything, but I cannot imagine anyone particularly wanting Anthony not to do what he's been doing.
Yeah, okay. You would like to second? Okay, that's, well, let's mix this up, that's Councillor Gately. All those in favour? Thank you, again, that is unanimous. Next one, Pontio, that's Councillor Harvey and Councillor Ossobogan on there currently. Since we haven't heard anything from Councillor Harvey that he doesn't want to continue, are you happy to continue?
Yes, I'm absolutely.
Is it still a group?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it does, that one does meet fairly regularly 4 times a year. So, yes.
I let Councillor Harvey want to stop on it because it was one of his things when he was mayor to actually get a
Started it,
he proposed it and took it through council, so the idea that he wouldn't want to stay on it would probably be far from the truth.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm proposing second, and it's Councillor Ahmed seconding, all those in favour? And again, unanimous, thank you. The new super councils network, our representative on that is again Councillor Harvey. He's on a lot of committees, isn't he? Again, we haven't heard that he doesn't wish to continue.
He's got a bus pass now as well.
Yeah, so I propose that we reappoint him to that committee. Yeah.
I propose it, I didn't take it away from him.
Okay, all those in favour? Thank you. And tree wardens, we have Councillor Statutory, Councillor Gately and Councillor Willett. Are you all happy to?
I'm happy to give way if someone wants to become tree warden.
Yeah, if you want to give.
No, I give way to the honourable lady.
Okay. Margaret?
I'm happy.
Okay, so we are, the proposal is that we appoint Councillor Draper, Councillor Gately and Councillor Statutory to the tree wardens. All those seconded by Councillor O'Donoghue, all those in favour? Okay, that's again unanimous. Is there no end to this?
No.
Smithing Association. So currently, I think it's Councillor Howard Mordew on there, Councillor Gately. Are you both happy to continue?
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, I'm proposing that we reappoint you, Councillor Willett, seconding.
Yeah, agreed.
Those in favour, yes, unanimous again. And the Rural Market Towns Group has not, to the best of my knowledge, met. At least I've never received an invite, but in case it should do, I'm happy to continue on it.
I have the horrible feeling that I still get the stuff and I assumed you got it as well, so.
No, I don't think so. They have, they
Oh.
don't appear to have updated their.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in that case, next time you receive one, please forward it, then I will remind them that I'm now the representative.
You obviously were very popular.
I'm no doubt we have told them. Yes.
Thank you. Just to say, it's a Rural Services Network, and I do a lot of work with them through Citizens of I's Rural Issues Group, and they're really good. So do get involved. They're really, it's very quite powerful on behalf of rural laws.
Yeah. Yes, Councillor Twomey.
Are you representing as ex officio or as a councillor?
No, as a councillor.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. Not like one of those, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another question. I noticed we don't have one here for the Remembrance Parade.
It's not our event.
Not our event.
No, well, neither a lot of the other our events, but surely we have a big input.
No.
We don't have a formal councillor rep.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but we might do, depending on what happens in the future, so I will.
Okay, can we please,
Yeah,
just for the sake of formality, vote on the rural market towns group? Somebody needs to propose.
Propose.
We had that.
Second.
So councillor Statutory was first, councillor Jane Mordy was second, so all those in favour, please. Thank you, and again, that is unanimous.
You got there, well done.
Right, next one is the inventory of land and assets to receive a report, and it's recommended that members review and approve the revised asset register. I think that we had a
I did send the email around on this. The asset register attached that you've been asked to approve is actually the older one, and the auditor on Friday has suggested an amendment. So I would suggest that we put that on hold for the moment, and if we review it at the next interim, by which time it will have been amended.
Yeah.
However, point 1.2, the asset register and disposal policy does still need to be reviewed and amended.
okay. So we take these in order. So we are proposing, somebody is proposing that we
I'm suggesting, Chair, that we bring 1.1 back.
yeah, okay, 1.1 back to the next interim council. All those in favour, please. Okay, thank you. That is unanimous. And then 1.2, that members review and re-adopt the asset register and disposal. Yes, Robin.
I propose that we do as said.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Seconded by councillor Gately, and all those in favour, please. Thank you. That was unanimous again, sorry.
Yeah, this unanimous has been very popular tonight. You have to get them on the council.
This agenda, next item. The confirmation of arrangement for insurance cover in respect of all insured risks. Is there anything to add to that?
It's already been agreed. It was agreed at a previous meeting, but it's part of the annual statutory meeting.
So we're
You
just
have it.
confirming this. Yes, councillor Statutory.
Suppose we agree.
Yeah.
Who said yeah there? So seconded by councillor Mahi. All those in favour, please. Thank you. And subscriptions, review of the councils and or staff subscriptions to other bodies. And yes, councillor Statutory.
They are reasonably long, but they are all things that we have discussed endlessly and done whatever in advance. I propose that we agree them. If there's anything needs changing, the town clerk will always bring a report to discuss it. So I propose that we agree them.
Okay. We have a seconded by councillor Willard. All those in favour, please. And again, that is all of us. See, I've found another way of bring some variety to this. And then the complaints and compliments log to receive a report from the compliance and projects manager and to review the council's complaints policy. So it is recommended that members approve and adopt the revised complaints policy. Yes, councillor Statutory.
Thanks, Dee, for the work on it and the changes which he's brought through. And I think that, as usual, he's done an excellent job. I propose that we agree it in its entirety.
Second that. Okay, councillor Draper seconding. All those in favour, please. Yep, and again, no dissenting voices. Running out of different ways of saying this.
Oh, good though.
But that brings us to the end of item 12. Yay. Item 13, we have a motion from councillor Ralph, supported by councillor Cole. Anthony, do you want to speak to this?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This motion is placed on the agenda under my name due to councillor Cole being away at present, and it's fair to say he would have proposed it himself were he to have been here. It was during discussions with representatives of Winslow Town Council that the general dissatisfaction with the efficacy, or more precisely the lack of efficacy, of the town and parish's charter and the constitution was noted by all present. To voice our mutual feelings, it was agreed that this joint letter be written, and once having been agreed by both Winslow Town Council and Buckingham Town Council, would carry appendices from both councils with examples to illustrate the problems being experienced both individually and collectively. The Buckingham Town Council appendix calls for the ordering of reviews for both the Constitution and the Charter, and as currently neither is meeting the needs of North Buckinghamshire. As the town and parish charter is a county-wide document, it has been deemed appropriate to address this document to the council leader, Councillor Tech, directly, albeit with courtesy copies to other relevant cabinet members, directors and senior officers. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Statutory.
I'm happy to second that and speak to it. If you read the Constitution of Buckinghamshire Council, it lays heavily on the way that the parish charter works, and the parish charter lays heavily on the way it would work with parishes in planning and such like. I think it'd be fair to say there's been some stress about the way that's worked, and I think it'd be fair to say, listening to the combined people across North Buckinghamshire, how that's working. I think it's unreasonable to ask people to look at these things again. Without asking people to look at them again, how can they take on board the strong feelings of the elected members of all the outside bodies of Buckinghamshire Council? They all are elected on the very same basis as what they are in Buckinghamshire Council. So I think it's very good, and I thank Anthony for putting this on behalf of Councillor Cole. I did, coincidentally, as Madam Mayor stated earlier, had my own discussions on these things last week, and those are very much in sympathy with the empathy of the motion. So in seconding it, I think it's the right approach. This isn't an argument, it's a discussion. Without discussion, you don't resolve anything.
Thank you. Councillor Osborne.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor. I do sympathise with Councillor Ross' letter, but as a Buckingham councillor, what makes that this was never raised with me, or was it brought to my attention the difficulty with Buckinghamshire Council? I think as representative on that council, it would have been quite fair for this to be brought to my attention. I'm not sure if it was brought to the other council's attention, but I know I've been a strong advocate of improved relationship between Buckingham Town Council and Buckinghamshire Council. So on that ground, whilst I do sympathise, I will abstain from voting, whilst I will reach out to Councillor Ross after the meeting to see what the difficulties are and how I can assist.
Thank you. Councillor Baker.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Obviously, this has been an issue which has been raised time and time again at both planning committee meetings and full council committees meetings, and I think actually all of our Buckinghamshire councillors were aware of the discussion with Councillor Cole last time when we first discussed sending this letter, and we voted on and agreed to come up with a draft of this letter. And I think that the draft is excellent. Could probably do with a little bit of tweaking here and there, but as a first draft, it's fantastic. And the only thing I was going to say is, would it have more power to put all individual councillor names that have kind of voted to send a letter on it, or does it hold more kind of power just with the planning committee, because obviously that's their main area?
I'll let the councillor respond to
The
that.
letter would come from me. If full council tasked me to write it, the letter would come to me and it would note that I've been tasked by the full council to send it.
Councillor Gately.
Yes, thank you. I'm fully supportive of the tenor of this letter. My concern is, as has been right from the word go with this parish charter, the parish charter was agreed and then it was put on a shelf and never to be seen or heard of again. That's my perspective on it. And my concern is that whatever response we get and whatever amendments to this charter come about, the same thing could happen. A charter is only of use, or a constitution, if people actually follow it.
Councillor Morley.
I will abstain from the vote because I know that your views are taken into account, especially on planning as Vice Chairman, as all parish councils are. When something is crystallised, it's turned down purely on planning grounds and no other reason. We have no disrespect for any parish council, whether it be a town council or parish council. The fact is that we are very short-staffed, as are all planning committees. But this is not just about planning, which is why I did not declare an interest. This is about the respect you feel as a parish council, collectively, the response you get from the Buckingham Council, as the town clerk so rightly said, the letter will come from the town clerk.
Thank you. Councillor Clyde.
I may have, my memory may not be quite right at the moment, but I may have agreed to this when it's come round in the planning. But I tend to agree with Councillor Ozibodu. In the past, we have heard from Councillor White, who said that we didn't go through him very often. And I think maybe this is one of the times when maybe we should go through our designated Buckingham councillor before we go wider. So, yeah, I would propose that that would be a better approach, just to see if it can be done rather than hitting with a great big sledgehammer first of all.
Thank you.
Well, you are right when you said your memory didn't slip tonight, because both Andy as Mayor and myself both said that we've taken discussions with the cabinet members around this very issue. So you are correct. The reason for this is to start a discussion. The parish charter covers many things, including planning, and let's not just focus on planning. It's rather about, we've got a situation at the moment, which you will be aware of, the street trading policy. You will be aware of the car parking policy. We've also had in these meetings discussed how challenged, frustrated we may be about those policies. What this is about, I believe, because I think that both the proposer of the motion and the draft of the motion are very considered gentlemen, and they would have thought about this very carefully. The idea that you proposed that one member would be your choice, I would challenge that. Buckinghamshire councillors are all here to represent you. If you have a concern as a councillor and you haven't taken that to the members, we have sit and listened, both the mayor and myself, and we've taken our own challenge forward. So it has taken place. So it's working. We've listened to the meetings and discussions with the members. Not every member of Buckinghamshire Council on this council sits on every committee, but the minutes are published and the agendas are freely available. So there are options there. The idea that you're going to task one person to it doesn't work like that, because on this authority we have no authority other than to listen as Buckinghamshire councillors and to be request. So I would propose that we move to the vote.
We haven't had.
And a recorded vote.
Yeah, I will ask those people who have put their hands up if they will do the vote. Yes, thank you, I've heard that. Councillor Williams.
Thank you very much. I was going to say, in support of Councillor Draper's point, would it be worth having a recorded vote too? But
Okay, so we've already got that, yes. I will now go to Councillor O'Donoghue who hasn't spoken, and then I will ask those who have already spoken again, yeah?
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor. I think that there's examples in this letter alone that says that this policy of theirs isn't working. So if our Shire councillors haven't managed to pick up that there's issues in here, there's examples in here, then I'm not really sure what's happening, because we have spoken about this a number of times. It's not just one example, it's plenty of examples.
So I will now ask the three people who have put their hands up. Councillor Ossie-Bogan, no, you're fine. Councillor Draper and Councillor Ralph to finish, and then we'll go to the vote.
Very quickly, I want to apologise. I checked back through the minutes of the full council where we did discuss this at Councillor Cole's original request through the letter, and Councillor Ossie-Bogan wasn't there, so. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Ralph?
I'd like to round off if I may. Obviously, opinions will differ to some degree, and it's good to debate it. But the thing that I would like to emphasise, it's not just Buckingham Town Council are writing, it's Winslow Town Council, and they're doing a similar exercise to the one we're carrying out here. And so I'd ask members to bear that in mind. It's a collective coup de coeur, shall I say?
Okay.
And therefore not just us.
Thank you, that is worth repeating. So we'll go to the vote. A recorded vote has been requested. So those in favour, please. So that is Councillor O'Donoghue, Councillor Gately, Councillor Willett, Councillor Draper, Councillor Ahmed, Councillor Ralph, Councillor Try, Councillor Mahi, Councillor Statutory, and myself. Those against? Abstaining? That is Councillor Jane Mordew, Councillor Ossie-Bogan, and Councillor Howard Mordew. Thank you. Therefore, the motion is carried and a letter will be written. Thank you very much. We are moving on to item number 14, to review and confirm the council's code of conduct.
No changes recommended.
There are no changes recommended, so yes, Margaret?
Can I propose that we accept these and as
Yeah, seconded by Councillor Mahi. All those in favour, please. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. And to agree to continue to adopt the general power of competence, again, no change.
I've only put this on as a belt and braces. I don't think we need to, we didn't have elections this year, so I don't think it would hurt to reconfirm.
Okay.
I think this is a really good thing to agree to. It was many years ago we managed to get the power of competence. It wasn't with the power of competence. We have a good life with the loan, which you announced today. So why wouldn't we want to carry on with that? Because it's now showing teeth and actually delivering. So why wouldn't we want to propose that we carry on?
Okay.
Second that.
Okay, seconded by Councillor Draper. All those in favour, please. I believe that is unanimous again. Thank you. Then to note item 16, we are making progress here.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Okay,
agreed.
fine. Everybody's happy. Town centre study report, to receive a report from the deputy town clerk.
I can speak very briefly just to introduce it if you wish. Actually, this work has been done. It was a joint partnership with the community board. There's quite a lot of information there. The recommendation is that the working group, the neighbourhood plan development working group, who have time to pore over this in a bit more detail, get first dibs looking at it, and then we'll take some recommendations from them.
Okay, so the recommendation is to receive this. Are we happy to receive this?
Okay,
Yeah, thank you. Access for all funding, again, to receive a report from the deputy town clerk. Okay, we'll let the town clerk catch up with herself there. Frantic scrolling.
Okay, that's like scratch it.
I've got you halfway between
Did you?
your main agenda and the other.
We'll play lift music as.
Page 289.
Yeah, 289.
Sorry, Mike, thank you.
Yes, needs.
I think it's really straightforward recommendation as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let me find it. It is recommended that Mr. Russell and the previous members of the Access to All are asked for written confirmation of which charity they would like to direct the remaining 251. We've talked about this, and that once confirmed, the £251 should be donated to the chosen charity. The charity should support those with disabilities and their access needs. Yes, Councillor Statutory.
I think in agreeing with this recommendation, we have to make note of all those members who are on the Access for All who, for various reasons, aren't on it now. That isn't for the lack of wanting to do something. That's just for the sheer profile and change of their lives. They have achieved so much in the town. They have been vigorously challenging to get drop curbs. The access into shops they've challenged. They've brought really challenged the town council to do with art and the Buckinghamshire Council, and they a siren for good in the town. I regret their passing. I regret the fact they did. I do recall back, and I don't know those members who were present when we had an access for all day, which Mr. Russell led, and we all went out around the town, and from that we adopted some policies which did make a lot of difference, but it was from their initiative that we supported. So I propose to you that we write to them at a time of, not immediately, but at a time of choosing, thanking them for their service to the community and being patrons of disability, because not having them in the town is a loss, because they pick things up that we may not see. So I think we should do that and accept the recommendation. But I do think we can leave it without saying thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And I don't know in what order the hands went up. So Councillor O'Donoghue and then Councillor Tribe.
Thank you. Yeah, I was on the group when it first started and for a couple of years afterwards. And the day was a success. But what we've got to remember is we now have an equality and diversity group. So we're going to be able to pick things up through that rather than just have one single body that does something. But yeah, so.
And I believe something is planned for later this year as well. So, yes, thank you. Councillor Tribe.
Yes, in 2.2, could we have the abbreviations for EMR, please?
EMR reserve.
I'm glad you know it, but they're public minutes.
Okay.
EMR.
In that case, are we happy to move to vote on this one? Yeah. I think it's been proposed by Councillor Statutory.
With agreement of when their time permits.
Yes, that we write a letter thanking them, seconded by Councillor Gately. All those in favour, please. Yep, and that's everybody. Thank you. Then the next item is item number 19, Park Run Funds, and it's recommended that members agree to return the money held for Buckingham Park Run. I believe we held this for them and that is no longer necessary and therefore we return it. Yeah. Okay, everybody is in favour of that, it's agreed. Thank you. And item number
agreed.
Item number 20.
Well, that was. There's had been discussion around this. My suggestion to members, I mean, it's just my suggestion, is that if neither the town clerk or the deputy town clerk be substantively available, then the compliance and projects manager becomes third in line and step in.
Yeah, okay. Councillor Statutory.
I propose that we agree and thank town clerk for bringing this to us and pay recognition to the fact that we are fortunate that Steve is qualified as Silker and can cover this within house. We're a very fortunate body to be able to have that.
The chair was also like second, please.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, seconded. And did you want to?
Yes, I'll just have a comment on this. I did have a chat with the town clerk on it before the meeting. I think my initial concern with the recommendation was the use of the word act. Now, when you are acting town clerk, you step in the position of the current town clerk. What I recommend is to substitute that word act with the word deputise. Currently, we have a deputy town clerk, and from my understanding of what the town clerk is trying to achieve here is in the instance that the town clerk is not available, nor a deputy is available, that the compliance and project manager deputise in her stead. So rather than replacing the town clerk, which is what the word acting will do, is to deputise for all the town clerk and ensure that the town clerk's functions are complied with. Now, the second point I had was with regards to the duration. Now, from what I can see here and my chat with the town clerk, I understand that the intention here is to make this permanent and not interim. Now, my key concern is as to, whilst we currently have a formidable compliance and project manager, if that person does occupy a higher position, such as the town clerk or deputy town clerk, then we need to fill that void. And we're going to fill the void with someone who has sufficient qualification as our current compliance and project manager, who is unique in that role, or are we going to have to increase the pay for that position to ensure that whoever is in there can deputise for the town clerk? So I would strongly recommend that the concept of deputise be for the period that the deputy town clerk will not be available due to the current circumstances we're in. So those are the two things I would suggest. That one, the word act be substituted with deputise as town clerk, and also it be set for a period. And I think an argument that can be made in opposition to that, what happens if the town clerk or the deputy town clerk are not available? Then the response to that is we have the mayor and the deputy mayor who can step in such instances. So I will be strongly recommending that we look at the duration, because it will have an impact on our employment structure and how much we have to pay if we need to replace that position of compliance and project manager.
Yeah, you've had to expand on that.
In the first instance, in my view, to deputise means to act as a definition. I'm comfortable with the wording. I feel it means the same thing. The reason for not putting a limit on this is I feel for business continuity, it is sensible to have a third in line. It just means there is no. Me and my deputy could go through these now to have a car crash. That having a third person there set up ready to go just seems to be a sensible precaution to have. In regards to whether or not it's changing somebody's job description, the compliance project manager does have a thing in the bottom of their job description, any other duties as is required, and I would suggest that emergency cover could happily fall under that. But this is a decision for members. This was just my recommendation to get us through.
Thank you. Nonetheless, I wanted that clarified. Councillor Secretary.
Just clarify, we are not legal officers of the council. So the idea that the deputy town or the mayor legal position is pervious. We're not legal officers of the council. That can't work. So in law, they have no, we have our authority in law through the town clerk. Town clerk is our legal officer who has drafted a report and brought through a proposal, and which everybody around this table is fully aware of the circumstances. When we change it to whatever, we are fortunate, aren't we, that we've made decisions in the past that has equipped us to be in a position to deal with these uncertainties. I was personally very happy when I proposed that we agree the proposals on paper, because it is for the town clerk to be our legal officer of the council. It is for our town clerk to be the one who advises us on the law. We, as councillors, don't have that privilege to have that role. We should listen to the advice of our legal officer and not deliberately or accidentally try to challenge that. So I'm happy with the wording because it means the same if it is, and propose that we would agree what is on there, whether it's whatever. Once you start adding words, we can all start adding words and just move to the vote on this because it has been dealt with. If we want to start adding words, I can easily come back again and add words.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Try, then Councillor Mordew, and I will go back.
Thank you. As I pointed out in previous processes, there are some words which maybe I don't read in the same way as others. So I actually support Eddie's proposal for deputise, because I think that fits in my world a little bit easier than to act. And I also think that the timescale is a suitable addition as well, because we are talking about anomalies and emergencies that would hardly ever happen, only in a few cases. And we may have that case happening, but it's not a regular happening. And therefore, it shouldn't be invoked because we've got other process, emergency meetings that we can call if we need to invoke other things. So it's something that should rarely, if ever, be used. So I think a timescale when it is used is quite appropriate. Therefore, I do second your motion of those two amendments.
In which case, can I just seek clarification? Are you going to be running the council as part of the amendment and the deputy council?
No,
That wasn't. Because that's not legal, so we couldn't possibly agree that.
So the amendment, as far as I understand, and I know there were other people who wanted to speak, but just for the sake of clarity, the amendment is that it should read to agree that should neither the town clerk or deputy town clerk be substantially available, the compliance and project manager will deputize for the time period that they are not substantially available. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's a change of a word, that's all.
It's quite a significant meaning in terms of obligations, surely.
From your perspective, town clerk, is that what you had in mind?
The definition of deputise is to act as, so I'm happy with either wording being fairly neutral. I'm slightly unsure as to whether or not Councillor Officer Bogan meant putting a time limit on how long this would be in place rather than it would only be.
I think it is implied that a third in line will deputise for as long as the town clerk and the deputy town clerk are not available. I think that is implied in the wording. I don't feel that needs.
That's how it is.
Councillor O'Donoghue.
Thank you. Because as it's already been mentioned that we do have other processes in place, so we can call emergency meetings and start an application for a new town clerk or deputy town clerk if that was needed at that time.
Yeah.
So I'm quite happy with what Claire's put down on the paper.
So we've had a proposal, we've had an amendment, a proposed amendment, and that has been seconded, so therefore we have to vote on it. I think we have heard all the arguments. I would therefore like that we go on vote for the, yes.
Just one thing, the town clerk is legally appointed by the council and is only responsible to the council. All employees are responsible to the town clerk. To have the compliance officer to act in emergency is one thing. To have them appointed as a town clerk is wrong.
Yes.
But that's
why I agree with, no, that's why I agree with Councillor Osley Bogan's amendment.
Well,
To deputise, okay.
Yes.
So the proposal is to replace to act with to deputise. The town clerk has said that she has, from her perspective, that is the same. So that has been seconded. Let's take that bit of wording first. Those who are happy to replace to act with to deputise. And I think that is everybody except Councillor Davies. Are you abstaining?
I'm abstaining.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Robin.
And you, sorry,
Yes, I'm abstaining.
you're abstaining, okay. Anybody against? No, we've got the two abstentions. Sorry, it's lots of items. So I apologise, shouldn't I? Should stop that. The other amendment was to add while the town clerk and the deputy town clerk are unavailable. In my opinion, and that was also seconded, in my opinion, that is already implied, but still anybody who's in favour of that other amendment. Okay.
We've just voted on the first bit, and now this is the second amendment, so we can open the discussion again then. As we want that word, I think that is covered in the proposal, so there's absolutely no point in doing this. As I say, we have a town clerk to draft stuff for us. If that's not how we do things, then we need to have a separate discussion. I'm happy to support the town clerk in her paperwork and I would suggest everybody else do it.
Can I ask for, because town clerk was asked about the deputy and the act bit, but what's your position on having words in there for interim or, what's your thoughts on that?
This is very much meant to, and in my view, either wording is fine, to cover should suddenly in an emergency not become available. And then that will mean that there's somebody just to pick up and keep things on track. If I suddenly become very much not available, or permanently not available, then you are going to need to have an extraordinary meeting. And you will need to appoint an interim clerk.
Yeah,
So that's a different matter.
yeah, it's only meant for a short period of time.
Yeah.
But having somebody in position to be able to step up and assist the mayor, for instance, with putting that agenda together and that paperwork in place, and making sure that if somebody suddenly has a problem in the office or that there's an issue with the spaces team, that we have a rank structure in place that means that we have a third in line ready to step up and deal with it. That's what this was meant to do.
Yeah.
So I think we've had the proposal that it should state that this is while the town clerk is unavailable. We've had an argument saying, or made by more than one person, that this is already implied. Therefore, going to the vote, do we, those who wish to add additional words to say that this is while the town clerk and the deputy town clerk are not available. Those who wish to add these words? Apparently nobody, so that's fine.
No, we're voting.
Yes.
We're voting.
Okay. 1, 2, so that's 4 votes in favour, those against. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Abstaining. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and therefore the second amendment is not carried. Therefore, can we go to the vote on the formal statement as amended, which now reads, so that everybody knows, to agree that should neither the town clerk or deputy town clerk be substantially available, the compliance and projects manager will deputise for the town clerk. Those in favour, please. And that is nearly everybody. Any abstentions?
I'm abstaining because I haven't been party to this conversation.
Yes, I assumed as much. So with 1 abstention, this is now carried. Thank you.
Point of order, Madam Chair, if I may.
Yeah.
We've worked carefully over deputise and act. Does that apply to the deputy town clerk in the absence of the town clerk? Do they deputise or do they act?
The wording I would suggest is.
You see my point that I'm trying to make?
Yeah.
If everybody's moving up one slot.
Then it's deputised again.
I'm not suggesting that the compliance, sorry to interrupt you, but that the compliance manager would necessarily act as the deputy should I not be available. It's just making sure we've got that third person covered.
I just wanted to be clear. It's a little cloudy thing that I thought was.
Thank you. I think, well, that's been clarified to my mind. And then 21, to agree to add the current compliance and project manager as a banking signatory. Yes, Councillor.
I propose that we ought to do so.
Second that.
Seconded by Councillor O'Donoghue. All those in favour, please. And that is everybody. Thank you very much. Point 20, agenda item 22, to agree the earmarked reserves to receive a report from the town clerk.
Just to make very clear, the auditor was only in on the 10th of May, therefore the full accounts, the AGAR, the internal audit report, etc., will all go to the interim meeting on the 7th of June. I'm asking you in my reserves squared away so that we can start basically getting on with the next financial year instead of waiting. We did, depending on how you wish to call up the budget, in that we didn't spend everything on time at the end of the last financial year. So we'll pull them around with what I'm suggesting, the earmark reserve is stuff that the project is either underway and we haven't finalised it, or we know we're going to need to spend that money. probably the only massively different thing I'm suggesting is to put quite a large chunk of money into a staffing earmark reserve. We're heading into a little bit of an uncertain period of time, because ring fencing a little bit of money to help with any potential issues that might happen there is sensible. If we don't need it, we don't have to spend it. I'm not saying that. But it just gives us a little bit of security and some money ring fenced. A lot of the other things are fairly sensible. So, for instance, we have a play area replacement fund. We always put a certain amount of money into that because we build up our chest because we know that we're going to have these expenditures coming. And I think most of the others are relatively straightforward. There's quite a large chunk of the additional monies that from the income that we made that I'm going to suggest go into cemetery development. Again, if we don't need it, we don't have to spend it, but I do anticipate that if the cemetery project doesn't go through and we're not ready to open early in the new year, then we are going to need to take out some stuff at the old cemetery, hedging, etc. And having money available to do that is also sensible. I'm open to specific questions on it.
Okay, Councillor Stapleton.
All these matters have been discussed throughout committee and everybody's discussed them. Much of this is in the Environment Committee, which is one of the most well-attended committees of the council. The idea that none of this is planning, and if you'd walked in the office the other day when the auditors were in, and you'd seen the long list of paperwork which stretched to the nth degree that they go through the audit, how much work in it, I think it's a reasonable objective to do this. The money that we're going to be saving or not saving and spending is within our ability to do. And if we don't cover those eventualities, then we would be ill-advised. So the idea that any of the proposals the town clerk put are nonsensical is not logical. So I propose that we agree all these in full so that we can get on with the actual way the town clerk suggested, who has taken a lot of time looking over this, not just whatever. And as I said, all this has been discussed endlessly in different committees about this expenditure and budgets. None of it's a secret.
I should, sorry, Chair, I do need to clarify, 9065, the purchase of cemetery and allotment and some of the legal fees has actually been spent since I've obviously we've had the confirmation that the payments of the land purchase has happened. So
that's what was in the office tonight.
yeah, so to please note that the 9065 won't technically ever actually make it into that earmark reserve because it hasn't been spent.
Thank you. Councillor.
I'll second the.
Okay, so there's a proposal that we accept this. It's been seconded. All those in favour, please. And that is unanimous. Thank you very much. Payment endorsements. Do we have to do anything with that?
No.
We
That's just on the
normally
agenda.
would be here because the sheer amount of paperwork that was agenda generated. I think it's sensible to take them to the next resources meeting.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to double check. I wasn't
You're
missing
welcome.
anything there. Reports from representatives on outside bodies. Councillors, Buckinghamshire councillors have already reported. So anybody from any other outside bodies wishing to give us additional insight? Thank you. And you have a list of events attended by the mayor or the deputy mayor, then which you can peruse at your leisure. Chair's announcements. I don't think I have any chair's announcements unless somebody wishes to correct me at this stage. I wouldn't be surprised. Which brings us to the dates of the next meeting, which is interim council on the 17th of June and full council on the 8th of July.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. I believe we have done quite well.